Okay, hello YouTube. This is Wrath again. This is my second video. Hopefully it'll be better than the last one. Today I want to talk about the execution of MS-13. Oh, you know what? Before I talk about that, I want to talk about something else. I know that no one is going to believe me, but I was the one who said we all bleed red. It wasn't Donald Trump. I can try to prove it. When I was watching Donald Trump running for president as a candidate, he said to the black people, "What have you got to lose?" And I thought to myself, is that the best that you can come up with? I mean, here's a man he's a billionaire, has access to the best writers in the world, and what have you got to lose? How about the election? So I tweeted him and I said, listen, if you want to make your base more universal and you want to appeal to the black people, I said, no matter our skin color, we all bleed red and we all die broke. That was the complete quote. What would be cooler than some white billionaire telling you that, despite my money, I'm going to die just as broke as everybody else? He never said we all die broke, but he did say we all bleed red. Now, I tweeted him and he used it, and I told him just to give me my credit. I said, he said, well, somebody said, I read on the internet, we all bleed red. And it was brilliant. Okay. But he never did that. He changed it to, we all bleed the same red blood of the American patriots. And then the other one was, we all bleed red, white, and blue. I don't even know what the hell that means. I don't bleed red, white, and blue. Um, Another thing that I did that I came up with was this immigration crisis that we had at the border. And I said 22 million people because I couldn't believe the figures. I said, man, that's 22 million people is more than the population of some countries. I think I looked it up and it was like that's the United States has more illegal immigrants in it than 75% of the other countries' population, native population. So I called into this talk show, really rude guy, and he said, okay, I said, he kept saying immigration problem, immigration problem. I said, 22 million people is not an immigration problem. I said, that's an invasion. 22 million people is an invasion. And again, I put that on the net on my Twitter account, and boom, it exploded. It was on the news and everything else. No, I don't expect any of you people to believe that, but I'm saying it just for posterity. Okay? Um, a couple other things I want to talk about now that maybe have not been talked about yet is what the guy on the radio show said, well, they're here now. Like, so deal with it. That was his solution. I said, no, no, no. I said, we have to mass deport them. You know, One third of our prisons have nothing but illegal immigrants, mainly the Mexicans like the MS-13 and the people who come from South America. Did you know that? One third of our tax dollars are going toward supporting this illegal criminals that are in our country. They get, three hots in a cot, toilet wine, illegal drugs, medical, dental, ice cream on Sundays, cable TV. They live better than our homeless vets that are dying on the street. Do you understand? My solution is to execute them all right now. Okay, if you're an illegal alien, you don't have any rights. So, you know, just that's it. You can deport them to Mexico, and if Mexico doesn't accept them, then you clear out the prison cells for American prisoners instead of letting them go out because the prisons are overcrowded. Okay? They said, well, if you just build another prison. You can never build enough prisons. Okay? If you, they said you build another prison, it'd be filled the next day. I said, well, where are those people at now? Okay, so the first thing is deportation. If Mexico doesn't accept its own citizens, we execute them, starting with the MS-13. Okay. The second thing is make the death penalty mandatory in every single state. I mean, it's the state's option if they want to use it or not, but it's on the books. Okay. Um, I Prison is not a punishment anymore. If you have the black community, they have the rap music and they glorify killing, fucking, doing drugs, 40s and blunts, whatever. And the more, gangster rap, you're not even considered a legitimate rapper, I don't believe, unless you've actually been to prison. And the worse your record, the better your CDs or DVDs or whatever videos will sell. Apple, whatever platform. Okay, concerts. Um, so prison's not a punishment. That's why I say the death penalty. If it was, I might resort. If it worked, it does work. It keeps the nonviolent people away from the. It keeps the violent people away from the nonviolent people, which is great. But we can't afford to feed and clothe and house someone until, for the next 60 years, until we can release them from society when they're too old to be a threat anymore. Okay, that's not practical. Okay, if you're found guilty of a crime and you get the death penalty, carry it out the next day. Don't put somebody on death row for 25 years. That's insanity. They could die of old age before they actually get executed. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. You're guaranteed by the Constitution a quick and speedy trial, then have a quick and speedy execution. Be consistent. That's all I say. Um, oh yeah, you got to police the prisons a lot better than what they're doing now. Don't allow prisoners visitors. Don't allow them phone calls. Don't allow them letters. There's all kinds of contraband that gets smuggled in the prisons, and that's crazy. They got people in prison that are ordering hits on the outside. No, you got to take away all of that. Another thing too is segregation. I see a lot of these prisons on lockdown after there's been some kind of um, mass brawl. Okay, you cannot let the whites and the blacks and the Mexicans all cohabitate at the same time. You have to have one race out, one race in, then the next race out, then back in, then the next race out, and then back in. See, you never have them all out at the same time because you're just asking for trouble. There's never going to be enough guards to effectively um, effectively do their job, establish order. That's just a recipe for chaos. Okay, another thing is you should respect the individual rights of the prisoners. Every prisoner, their jail cell, they should have their own cell. They shouldn't have to be in a jail cell where one's going to rape the other. They should have their own jail cells. If I don't know what the jail size cell is, but if you can make a 6 by 8, then you can make a 7 by 3. I mean, just something big enough for their cot, and that's it. And also cover the jail cell, so that it's like a cocoon. The jail bars are covered, so that way they can't, pass messages, contraband from one cell to another, whatever. I mean, all they have time to do is to try and cheat the system. Okay. Um, Another thing is going back to the death penalty, restrict or eliminate appeals. I mean, how many times does a person have to be found guilty before they're executed? I mean, that's crazy. And you said, well, how much time is reasonable? If you're found guilty, that's it. You're done. I don't know if it's in the Constitution, if they even have a right to an appeal. I might be wrong. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But you got to execute people within 1 year, and that supersedes your appeal. And if you don't get heard in 1 year, your appeal doesn't, and you get executed, that's the way the ball bounces. These criminals have more rights than the victims. Okay. Um, there is a group of cities that support sanctuary cities. Now, that means that they are supporting criminal activity and illegal aliens, and these are the representatives that are paid for with your money. Okay, our tax dollars, excuse me, our money. Um, and these cities include LA, of course, there's a shocker, New York, that Bill de Blasio is just, I don't know, man, that I've never seen anyone like that. It's like, I know it's like you have to be incompetent and almost out of touch with reality to be a politician. Um, okay, Denver, Philadelphia. These are just a few of the other cities that support the sanctuary city. And I'm telling you right now, the illegal immigrants get everything for free. If you're an illegal immigrant, okay, first of all, you broke the law just by being here because you didn't come in the right way. And I hear a lot of this. Well, you just want white people to come into the United States. Hey, here's an idea to avoid racism and prejudice and everything else. Let's just close the borders of the United States. Period. Okay. Let's close them now and forever, just like the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. If you weren't born here, you can never be a member. Okay. And don't tell me about well, we're a nation of immigrants. That's right. Do you know what immigrant means? Did you ever look it up? It means invader. That's what an immigrant is. We stole this country from the Indians, and the Indians didn't want the white man here now any more than they did then. The only difference is the white man had the technology, the superiority, so he used the rifle to slaughter the Indians, and we stole their country from them. I know the black people complain about slavery, okay, and rightfully so, but you have to understand that human beings have always tried to enslave others. The Egyptians did it with the Jews. There's white slavery going on with women right now. Europe, Russia's real big for that. And the slaves with blacks is just in modern history, but it's always existed all through time. Um, they want reparations for being a slave. Well, how about the white people that died trying to free them? I never once got a thank you card. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Um, we're a nation of immigrants. We stole this land from the Indians, and now we're trying to prevent the South Americans from stealing this country, from taking it from, I guess, the I don't want to say white people, but it's funny because Mexico has borders too to keep out other Mexicans. They're the same race, the same bloodline. Honduras and South America, they even speak the same language, Spanish, and yet they have walls to keep out their own people. That's not a joke. And then then they want to criticize the United States for having border walls. I say you can never end citizenship for every race from everyone. You can be a visitor here, you can work a visa for 2 years, then you got to go, and you can never be a citizen here if you're from another country from now and forever. That will end racism for good.